What you're about to hear is a terrifying first-person account of survival. It starts out so simple, right? Just a bike ride through a forest, but it ends in a desperate fight for life against, get this, a vengeful, headless spirit. So yeah, let's dive right in.
All right, so picture this. You've got a deserted road, and it's slicing right through the Telgaon forest. There's a full moon out, casting this, super eerie light on everything. Our narrator, he's with his two buddies, Suresh and Ajay, just out for a late-night bike ride. It's quiet, almost too quiet.
But you know that calm isn't going to last, right? A single, simple stop on the side of this road. And that's it. Everything is about to change. Forever.
So they pull over, just to take a quick break. Our narrator and Suresh, they head to one side of the road, and their friend Ajay, he goes over to the other. Totally normal, routine stop. Or at least that's what they thought. A few moments later, the narrator and Suresh turn back, and Ajay's just gone, vanished. They start calling his name, thinking, okay, funny prank, dude. But there's no answer, nothing. Just the deep, super unnerving silence of the forest.
And then, out of nowhere, a scream just rips through that silence. It's Ajay. He's yelling, "Bhai bachao," which means, "Brother, save me." And right then, they know. This is absolutely not a prank. Something is horribly, horribly wrong. They hear him again, "Let me go," and they just bolt, plunging right into the trees. And what they find is just chilling. There's blood splattered on the leaves and clear marks on the ground like a body's been dragged. Then they see it, way off in the distance, a figure, a dark shape in a black sari, dragging Ajay deeper into the woods at this just impossible speed. So they follow this trail, and it leads them to this huge, old, creepy mansion just looming there in the middle of the forest. And as they get closer, they hear Ajay scream one last time from inside. And then, nothing. He's silenced for good. Right there, in front of this house, they start arguing. The narrator, he's all, "We have to go in. It's probably some psycho killer. We can take him." But Suresh is just paralyzed with fear. He's convinced it's a witch, a Dayan. He's saying, "No way, man. A normal person can't drag someone away like that. We have to run." Well, the narrator isn't listening. He basically ignores Suresh's terror and drags him into this dusty, cobweb-filled mansion. And the second they step inside, they hear it. One final, absolutely blood-curdling scream from Ajay, coming from the second floor. And after that, complete silence. Okay, so the narrator knows he has to go up. He has to see. And as he starts walking towards the staircase, he sees something that just confirms every single one of his worst fears. Blood. Fresh blood, just dripping, drip, drip, down the stairs from the floor above.
So they steel themselves and go up. And when they get to the second floor, they're met with what the narrator just calls the manzar, the horrifying scene. It's Ajay. His body is hanging upside down from the ceiling. He's naked, his hands just dangling, but his head is gone. It's just missing.
Just as they're trying to process this absolute horror, they hear a sound coming from a room nearby. They're about to come face to face with the architect of this entire nightmare.
They slowly peek into this dark room, and there she is, the figure in the black sari. Her back is turned to them, and it sounds like she's weeping. But the sound, the voice, it's not hers. It's Ajay's voice, crying with this gut-wrenching sorrow. The narrator, he yells out, "Where is Ajay?" And the figure, she slowly starts to turn around. And this is it. This is the true horror. Where her head should be, there's just nothing. She's headless, and she's holding Ajay's severed head in her hands. And then, in this just gruesome, unnatural motion, she lifts Ajay's head and attaches it to her own neck. And the head, it smiles, and then it speaks, but with her voice, giving them this terrifying ultimatum. "Mujhe mera sir lado, warna me tumhara sir le lungi," which means, "Bring me my head, or I will take yours." You can bet they ran. They just booked it out of there. But a second later, the narrator realizes Suresh isn't with him. He looks back and sees Suresh just walking back towards the mansion, like he's in a trance, completely hypnotized. The narrator tries to grab him, to stop him, but he's thrown against a tree with some kind of unseen force. All he can do is watch in absolute horror as Suresh walks back inside, picks up a knife, and cuts off his own head. So now he's trapped, he's completely alone, and he knows fighting is useless. Brute force is not going to work here.
His only shot, his only chance of getting out of this alive is to figure this thing out. He has to solve the mystery of the spirit. He needs to find out what she wants and why she's doing this.
So he's cornered by this spirit, and he asks her, what happened? And she tells him this awful story. She was on vacation, right here, in this house, with her husband. 3 drunk men showed up and attacked her. Her husband, he fought back. He tried to protect her, but they stabbed and killed him. And then in this drunken rage, one of the attackers murdered her. And as a final, brutal act, he severed her head from her body.
So her body was buried, but her head was never found. Her spirit is trapped here, incomplete. So here's the deal. To free her spirit and, save his own life, the narrator has to find her real skull. Then he has to cremate it along with her remains, which she tells him are buried under a big banyan tree nearby.
So the task is clear, but think about it. The challenge is insane. He's in a dark forest, in the middle of the night, looking for a skull that's been lost for years. His life literally depends on him solving this old murder mystery with basically 0 clues.
He asks the ghost for anything. One last detail. What was the last thing you heard them say? And her answer, this is the key to everything. She says, they were talking about frying fish.
And that one tiny clue is all he needs. His mind starts racing. He remembers from her story that her husband had only caught 1 fish that day. 1 fish isn't enough for 3 drunk, hungry guys. So where would they get more? The pond, right behind the house. He figures the killer was probably still carrying her head when they went to the pond and just tossed it in. It makes perfect sense. The skull has to be in that pond.
So he just bolts for the pond. For 2 solid, agonizing hours, he's wading through this dark, nasty water, just feeling around in the mud on the bottom. Can you imagine? And then, finally, his hands close around something hard and round. He's found it. He actually found the skull.
He does exactly what she said. He digs up her remains, builds a pyre, and burns them together with the skull. He actually sees her spirit rise up, finally free, and then he runs. He runs from that forest and swears to never, ever look back. So yes, he survived the night. But the question that just hangs in the air is, after seeing all that, after losing both of his friends in the most horrific way imaginable, did the horror ever really leave him? Did he ever truly escape?